To start this new series, we must first define a formation. What is a formation, and what do they do? A formation, in Alpha Strike game terms, is a group of units that operate cohesively, formed during the force building step. They often share a similar characteristic that makes them work well in such a grouping. The exact number of units might vary based on your chosen faction, but at its base level, it generally comes down to 4 units in a lance for inner sphere formations, and 5 units in a star for clan formations, and 6 units for Comstar and their fanatical cousins in the Word of Blake. Each formation has requirements that the units that comprise it must meet during the force building in order to qualify for the chosen formation. These restrictions may be loose, such as simply needing to be of a certain unit type, or they might be strict, like needing to have a certain percentage of units with a particular battlefield role, or must have a minimum movement speed, for example. Luckily, however, most formations have an ideal role stipulation. This stipulation allows formations to ignore all other requirements on the condition that every unit in the formation is of this ideal battlefield role. For our first entry into the series, we look at the most ubiquitous of formations, the humble battle lance. Serving on front lines everywhere, these are your professional soldiers. Their job is combat. Eschewing such fancy tactics as indirect fire and cover, the job of a battle lance is to close distance with the enemy and throw the gauntlet down. Despite this inclination to directness, the battle lance is flexible enough to allow for a lot of unit variation, and can sometimes be the catch-all for the majority of unit groupings. In all likelihood, this will be your most common formation due to its versatility and effectiveness. So what makes a battle lance? Better yet, what makes a good battle lance? And what are the features that make a battle lance good? We'll get to that second question after we answer the first. For the standard battle lance, the requirements are that 50% of the chosen units must be at least size 3 or higher. If the lance is composed of vehicles, those vehicles must come in pairs of the same model, and you must have 2 matched pairs that also qualify as size 3+. Finally, at least 3 units in the battle lance must be either brawler, sniper, and/or skirmisher battlefield role types. All these requirements can be safely ignored, however, if all the units in the formation are the battle lance's ideal battlefield role, the brawler type. The variations of standard battle lance mostly pertain to differences in weight class. The light battle lance must have at least 75% of its members be size 1, and there can be no size 4 or higher members of the lance at all. Also, at least 1 unit must be a scout battlefield role. It also follows the same matched pair vehicle stipulation as the standard battle lance. The medium battle lance must have at least 50% of the members be of size 2. Again, there are no assault classes or above allowed in this variant formation, and they also follow the matched pair vehicle rule. The heavy battle lance requires 50% members to be size 3, and there are no light units allowed. Matched pair vehicle rules yada yada as well, recently errataed to be 2 matched pair vehicles of size 3 or larger. Phew, okay, that was a lot of boring rambling about the requirements. So what do you actually get for it? The bonus ability for the formation is arguably one of the best in the game. Omitting forgetfulness, I can't think of a single time where I didn't use it in a game. The bonus ability for the battle lance is a form of the special pilot ability called Lucky. What it does is give your formation a pool of lucky dice that the members of the formation can use as if they had the lucky special pilot ability, which is pretty darn good. Lucky lets you re-roll 1 failed attack roll or 1 failed control roll per point used per scenario. Although limited to only 1 of 2 specific rolls in the game, and the second result always stands, the impact this can have is massive. Miss that critical shot on the wounded foe? The battle lance gets a second chance. Did you face plant after sprinting across that rain-slick street? The battle lance gets a second chance. If a pilot already had the lucky special pilot ability, this formation bonus stacks with it, meaning your pilot is even luckier. They must have a rabbit's paw somewhere under the command couch. But be aware that they can't use more than 4 points in a single battle, regardless of the source of that luck. The number of points you get to use with this ability is equal to the number of units in the formation at setup plus 2. So a lance of 4 mechs gets 6 points of lucky to use throughout the game. That's a lot of rerolls. So flexibility, as well as being pretty good at the precise application of extreme force, are the main strengths of a battle lance. With that in mind, how can you maximize this formation's benefits? For optimal usage, I would recommend disregarding units that do not have a reliable damage output. This is dependent on era and technology base, but a rule I try to abide by, for myself, is to only include units that can deal 3 damage or more. If you are leveraging the unit's ideal role of brawlers, I also suggest paying close attention to the medium range bracket, as I find that most of my time in combat with these units takes place at that range. Alternative ways to play this lance might be less optimal, but if you are more interested in making your battles memorable rather than winning, you might recall that physical attacks are still attacks, meaning that your Highlander burial aficionados, your Axemen berserkers, and your sword enjoyers might find the formation bonus to be of use when securing those clutch pro-gamer moments. Units designed with urban combat in mind might also get a lot of use out of this bonus. Skidding past your prime lane of fire sucks. Being able to re-roll that control roll might place your hunchback at just the right place at the right time to achieve their life purpose of pumping AC-20 rounds into a foe at point-blank range. The last tip I can give is more of a general one for all formations. When building your formation, it makes things much easier if you can match movement capabilities of the units in the formation. This becomes more important the bigger the battles become. If your entire formation has the same movement speed, it can simplify your play and take a lot of mental load off as well. It makes it easier to move each unit the same amount. This also can help them remain close together to focus their fire, cover each other's flanks, etc. Example time. For an example of a general purpose battle lance in early eras, I would give the following a try. A Centurion C9-A, an Orion ON1-V, a Thunderbolt TDR-5S, and a Warhammer WHM-6K. Depending on the skill ratings of the unit, this formation comes in around 130 PV. These units are fairly tough, share the same movement speed, and all can apply 3 points of damage in the mid-range. They're inexpensive, simple, tough, and hit moderately hard. Consistently being able to apply that damage will reliably knock down large units with ease. Some things to watch out for though. 8 inches of movement is not fast. They are not the slowest units in the game, but you won't be running down any hovercraft either. Their long-range firepower is significantly weaker, meaning that you will need to close the distance to make use of them. You can throw out some more damage if you overheat some of them, but that comes with its own set of drawbacks. Overall, the Battle Lance will be a great general-purpose formation that can do a variety of tasks. The biggest drawback of being a jack of all trades is that you are a master of none, and there will always be formations and units that can outperform you in certain tasks. Your formation won't be specialists. That being said, I subscribe to the philosophy that flexibility in battle can be a strength all of its own. As we explore some of the other types of formations, we'll see how the humble Battle Lance can become a force multiplier, playing off the abilities of other formations. It also has the added benefit of being extremely simple. A formation bonus you don't remember does you no favors, after all. For all these reasons, the Battle Lance is in nearly every force that I create. What are some of your favorite units to include in this formation? How often do you use the standard Battle Lance? What points value do you aim for when constructing a Battle Lance? Leave me your tips in the comments below, and let's all learn from each other's experience. Like, subscribe, and let the battle continue.